time, we have offensive coordinator Chad Scott. Questions for Coach Scott, Greg?
So Chad, first drive was very good. After that, I mean, second drive was good until the end. So,
Yeah.
but how did things sort of go awry after that?
I wish we could have kept it going like we did the first drive and the second drive up until that point. That was really the game plan to play like we did the first drive. You know, take what they gave us and count on CJ and Jaheen to break tackles and make some guys miss and take a shot when we're supposed to and score in the red zone. That was the game plan. And got out. Obviously we didn't make the play down there in the red zone. The second drive, which led into the missed field goal, and from that point, just kind of it didn't go the way we planned.
The snap problems, you think?
That was a huge problem.
Hurt.
That was a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
That was a huge problem. Timing, just trust. Timing, trust, get behind the chains, confidence in play. That was huge. That was a tremendous factor. That was a big issue.
I mean, I guess in practice, he's got somebody over top him because they play a lot of three-man fronts. So
Absolutely.
You can't just attribute to this
Right.
unique.
And our
look, right?
team and our defense play three-man front, so we face it every day. And like I said, this game's 6, so we hadn't had that issue outside of the first game of the season. So that was a surprise to us, and that wasn't good at all. That was a tremendous factor.
What are you guys going to do to kind of make sure that doesn't happen again?
Well, we got to continue to do the same thing we did in practice because we go against defense in practice. We always do best on best, so we get that true game speed of what we're going to play on Saturdays. And got to see the consistency and him being able to snap the football. So that's not an issue. And obviously you got to have somebody ready behind him. I thought Landon Livingston came in late in the game, did a good job. So
I think Neil said it was 11. When you watch the tape, were there any that had the timing been good? You had things blocked up and schemed up?
absolutely, there's a couple runs too. There's a couple runs where if the snap's not an issue, we got a chance to hit a big one. Snap's good. You don't get behind the chains, And so, absolutely.
What changed from those first 2 drives? Was it something that Iowa State adjusted to? Was it just mistakes?
Like I said, I think they changed defensively. They start pressuring a lot more. They start pressuring a lot more, and like I said, we had with the snap issues, we got behind the chains quite a bit as well. And you get behind the chains quite a bit, it's just hard to have play calls for second and long and whatnot. So sometimes you kind of get off schedule and what you want to do and try to get back on schedule, and we didn't execute all the time, and so that kind of caused us to get off a little bit, and we didn't execute in certain pivotal times.
Neil said, obviously, three-man front again this week that you faced last week, but schematically different. You anticipate any copycatting that they may do?
Absolutely. In my eyes, I think that they're very similar defense. They're going to be a bend, don't break. They're not going to do anything to hurt themselves, which is what we did as well, hurting ourselves. So it will be some copycat, a lot of similarities. No reason to go into the game playing with a lot, do what we do, and, practice, minimal things versus various looks. So we don't have breakdowns and communication issues, whatnot. And that was the issue as well, to your question. Have some lack of some breakdown in communication that caused some issues with some of the things that they changed, which I didn't think was a big deal, but obviously it was a big deal and it hurt us.
I was going to say, Nick had mentioned that some of the twisting caught him off guard a little bit. ID.
Right. Yeah, the ID, like I said, the communication, the twisting they did, a couple of things that were a little different. And so that's why going into this week, minimal what we're going to do and call game plan wise, so we got an opportunity to work various looks.
Nick had also mentioned that, when you look back and looked at the errors, they're tweaks, they're little things. They're not like these big, huge mistakes where
right.
we'll just have to live with it. These are very eminently fixable.
Right.
How harming is that's the scenario, that these are okay, we can just go in, tweak this, and we should be okay, rather than the opposite where it's we're just gonna have to live with.
Well, also kind of disheartening too because we got iPads on the sideline, so we was able to see some of those issues too. So we, some of them should have been, fixed and right. So that's on there. That's on everybody too. With the iPads, was able to get it fixed and go out there and execute and get it done. So got to be better all the way around, players and coaches.
Is it good that you know, that these are fixable things.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. They're fixed. But the thing about it, it's a self-awareness. Had the meeting today. You got to tell the guy, tell the truth Monday, and that's what we did today. And the guys got to see, and they saw it before coming in. So that's the biggest thing: be to recognize it, own it, and then correct the mistakes and learn from it and move forward and don't make them same mistake again. Because like I say, we'll see the same defense for the most part this week.
Some problems with bringing the technology in on both sides, things not working right, the miscommunications, merging all of that.
Yeah.
Specifically on the iPads, are those working well? What are the benefits you think you're
Sometimes,
getting out of
for the
it?
most part, early on, early on, like typically, like for the last couple of games, the first drive, maybe they don't get certain couple plays, or maybe the end zone's missing, so it's hard to see kind of what they're doing. That's what happened on the first drive. Honestly, the entire end zone was missing. So sometimes you get those issues.
You have few possessions like you do this last game. More pressure on an offense to take advantage of every down you
Absolutely.
get.
You got valuable possessions. And that's where the little things come in. We talk about it all the time. The little things make the big things happen. Just be patient. Just do your job. Win every play. And how you win every play, just simply do your job every play. When you're one-on-one, counter your teammate next to you, do the little thing to make the big things happen. Coaches do a great job making sure the right guys, I say the right guys, most productive guys, the guys that's supposed to be on the field are on the field. So guys don't feel like they got to go out there and make all the plays, But you got to value your possession. At the end of the play now, it's got to be a touchdown.
We study Kansas State. What's the best thing they do defensively?
Be where they're supposed to be. And that's when I say be where they're supposed to be. They don't, do anything to hurt themselves. If they're responsible for it, they see a B gap, they're going to be in the be a C gap. And they're supposed to blitz, they're going to blitz. They're supposed to keep contained, they're going to keep contained. They're not going to get greedy and try to make that play that's not their play. So they're going to be where they're supposed to be. And so it's going to come down to a very similar thing I told the offense last week. It's going to be a matter of who's going to be the most disciplined to do the most fundamental things over and over and over again, play by play. And not get impatient, go rogue, and do your own thing, or try to create something that you did not do on Tuesday and Wednesday work day within a week.
Traylon brought up,
Challenge for college teams to do that over and over, not make a mistake, which they're playing for.
It is,
So
because
in a game
everybody.
like this, do
it
you
is.
kind of have to get one or two explosive plays?
Well, that's when so you do the little things and put yourself in position to get to that one-on-one to create that explosive play. Like, for example, when Jaheim's one-on-one with their safeties and, to get to that one-on-one situation, he has to do little things to do it, which he did the other day, and he won his one-on-ones. It's when, receivers do the little things to get off of press coverage, to get in space down the field where they one-on-one, and to create that explosive, they got to now be spectacular and make that one-on-one. But to even get to that point, they got to do the little things to put themselves in that position to get to that ideal one-on-one situation.
You talk about doing the little things and doing your job and all that a lot. And Traylon actually talked earlier today on he believed that what broke down from the first drive being successful to the rest of them not as much is guys just not doing the little things, not doing their job.
100%.
How frustrating is that for you?
Oh,
How do you
man,
fix that? Because we're mid-season now.
Ain't no question. First of all, it's inexcusable. And that's why you see a guy like Traylon Davis. Now, no knock on Traylon Davis, but he got to be one of the slowest guys. But the last 2 weeks, he's got an explosive player. And how does he do that? He is doing the littlest thing right to get in the ideal situation that the little thing will put him in to do that. And so the guys with all this talent and all the speed got to continue to do little things as well. And if they can, we got to get them off the football field because it's hurting us.
Garrett's rushing attempts, how many of them are just outright scrambles and how many of them are called rushes?
They pretty much all outright scrambles. For them to be honest with you, they pretty much all outright scrambles.
Call more pure running plays for him, or do you think you're doing enough there?
Nah, he's doing enough doing that. He's doing enough doing that. Plus, we don't want to get a hit all the time. He's doing enough scrambling, so we don't have to put in a lot of call runs for him. Plus, some of these call runs, we probably use Nico for some of these call runs, give some opportunities to get in the game as well. But he's doing a good job scrambling. Now I like for him to sit in the pocket sometimes and let it turn it loose. But he does a good job extending plays sometimes when things break down or they may be covered downfield.
So Coach Brown talked about earlier this year about Green making the decisions on when to run and when to pass. How would you evaluate his decision making on when to run, when to pass? That in particular part of his game.
Well,
this season.
I look at it like more of a situational deal. Obviously, it's a lot of times he extends plays and helps us out immensely and keeps us in a situation where it keeps us within the drive, keeps the drive alive, keeps us in a game. But it's certain situations. What are situations? You're in a red zone or you're in a score zone where you're 15-yard line, 25-yard in, or you're in a third and long or any third down situation where it's cloudy in the back end, where the windows are real tight and you're not necessarily sitting in the pocket. You're moving, you're on the run. Maybe you're going rolling to the left and you're right-handed quarterback and you one-on-one with a defender in space. But like I tell them guys, a defender in a shark out of water, which is in the ocean with a guy, rather than actually putting the ball at risk and throwing the ball in that tight window, off schedule. Go win that one-on-one with the shark out of water, And that's what happened the other day. We had a third and long situation where he's running to his left. It's all scheduled throw. He's throwing the ball against his body, his momentum, and he should take off and run. So it's a situational deal. It's got to be smarter in situational play.
If I could change your words a little bit. It seems like what you're saying is people turn on the TVs and see the top 10 plays and think they win games. But the fact of the matter is, it sounds like that boring, patient, same old play that you do over and over again is what wins football.
Absolutely, particularly versus teams like Iowa State was. They were a team that's going to be a bend-don't-break team. Again, guys going to be where they're supposed to be. They're going to try to keep everything in front of them. Like when I say everything in front of them, they're not necessarily going to give up the big play. If they do, you got to do a little thing to get behind them. If you do create a big play, you got to win the one-on-ones like Jaheim White did. Otherwise, they're going to keep everything in front of them. So it's going to be 2nd and 4. And you're going to get it again. You get it, hand the ball off, it could be first down. Get it again, it'd be first and 10 and 2nd and 6. Are you going to be comfortable continuing to do that over and over, or are you going to, be impatient and try to do something that you're not coached to do and cause something bad to happen? So this situational play, and that's not every game. That's last game. That's the game like this game this upcoming week. They're going to be very similar. Now, because of them being more aggressive, we may have opportunities for even more bigger plays because of their aggressiveness. That would be the difference between Iowa State and Kansas State. Kansas State going to be a lot more aggressive in trying to create a negative play.
What advice do you have, what have you given Garrett on maybe loosening himself up and being more like last year when he would take advantage of openings? A couple times this year he slid too early. He had an open field ahead of him and didn't run. It seems like that's important.
Right. Well, one thing I did today in the meeting, Wyatt Milam, when he practices, he doesn't practice to have success versus anybody on our defense, or whether that's, our primary defense or our scout team defense. He works on things to beat the team that he's going to play. So the defensive end that he's going to face on Saturday, the moves that he uses, the way that he attacks his defender in practice, he treats that guy as if it's a guy on Saturday. And I pointed out some clips today where he did that in practice, he did it in the game. So similar to Garrett, like when we playing against the guys on our defense or scout team, he got to work on the things that he's going to do to help himself have success versus Kansas State defense, not against our defense. So we don't want to beat our guys. We want to do things that help you beat the guys on Saturday. So now when that situation comes up on Saturday, you've already executed and worked on some things that have success versus that defense on Saturday because you did it during the week. And that's what I emphasized today. And that's the best, example I can give. Because sometimes, we obviously go against scout team defense every day, and those guys try their best to, simulate what we're going to see on Saturday, but they're obviously not that particular individual. So when we watch film and they see how those guys are going to play, we've got to do things that help him win on Saturday versus our guys, but not to beat our particular guys, if that makes sense.
Anything else, Coach? Thank you very much.
I thank you all.